Hi, this is Bob Kay with BikerNet TV. Today we're interviewing Dar Holsworth of Brass Balls Bobbers.
How you doing, Bob?
Good, Dar. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I understand you had a pretty neat award-winning bike recently. In fact, it was even featured in Easy Riders magazine. Can you tell us about that bike and what you call it?
Yeah, that bike's our, what we call it, the Tatoo bike. And it was actually my own personal bike. It's an Easy Riders February 2008 edition, which is actually on newsstands now. And real fortunate to get a nice 4 or 5 page spread in there covering the bike. You know, it did take 5th place at the AMD World Championship of Bike Building, so another accolade about that bike that we're real happy about.
Well, you know, people, your personal bike, so it must have some special treatment on it. Let's start off with the Powerplant or drivetrain. What'd you put together for the power on that ride?
I used the formerly, what was called the Indian Power Plus 100. It's now the Crazy Horse V Plus 100. But great motor, love it, and I'll put it in my next bike too. But ran that. We ran a RevTech 6-speed transmission. Tower, primary.
Now, you know, some of the most popular accessories people like to put on their bikes are the different types of intake, exhaust, and wheels. What did you use on the Tatoo bike in that area?
Well, we went with the Mikuni 42, or actually Mikuni 45 carb. Crime scenes, air cleaners, speed lines, air cleaner, great looking unit. Let's see, wheels, we used Black Bikes wheels, some real nice black powder coated 40 spokes.
Well, a lot of, you know, bobbers have really broadened out from the original bobbers now, and some of them have sprung seats, some have ape hangers, some have mid controls or forward controls. Right. So let's talk a little bit about the ergonomics and how you set this bike up, and then maybe we can talk about your riding style and how those ergonomics helped you with that.
Well, we start with the drag bars. We certainly like the aggressive styling of the drag bars, and yet still used forward controls. We didn't use mid controls, though they would have worked great on this bike. So we still kind of have a chopper stretch for your legs, but you're bent over a bit, aggressive on the drag bars.
Well, what type of seat did you use to put all that together?
Absolutely. Actually, the seat was pretty unique. It was made by Rich Phillips Leather, and Rich did a great job. The seat actually had an exposed brass seat pan, hence, you know, Brass Balls Bobbers, and it pulled together a lot of other brass accents that were real nice. We used some knurled you know, grips and foot and toe pegs. The seat also then had a custom tooled leather Brass Balls Bobber top to the brass seat pan.
Well, I know when you put something together that's award-winning like that, a lot of the builders have a hard time holding on to those bikes for themselves. So is that bike still yours, or has somebody come along and made you that proverbial offer you couldn't refuse?
Well, let's say my partner Sam is smiling right now because he wanted to sell it day one. It was hard for me to sell. I held on to it for about a year, used it for my own personal use, and then obviously we used it in marketing campaigns and so forth. And I got some good exposure out of it. I didn't want to sell it, but you know, we need to move forward. We've got other designs that we're building, and we decided to put that bike up for auction via eBay, with a portion of the proceeds going to the Wounded Warrior Project to support our wounded troops. And a gentleman in Florida, Tony DeFeo, bought that bike and loved it so much he actually then got curious and bought another bike. So not mine anymore, but Tony and I think have struck up a friendship, and if I went down to Florida, I think he'd let me ride.
Well, why don't you, if somebody's interested in a bike like that, you know, would you duplicate that again? Would you do something different? How would you go about that process to give somebody a unique bike like that Tatoo bike, yet offer some of that special styling you have involved in that?
Well, what we do is we'd use that as a guide if they like that bike, obviously, and set out to build a bike that was unique to their style, but had some of the elements of that bike in it. I don't know that it's good karma to copy one bike after another. I realize in manufacturing, you know, sometimes you have to do that, but our goal is to build a bike to the unique style of each customer, and maybe use a bike at Formula 4 as I don't know, a guide to what they might want to start with.
Well, it sounds like that's what makes Brass Balls Bobbers special. They're not going to mass produce bikes, but they'll help you build your special ride too. We'd like to thank Dar Holsworth today for coming by and sharing some of his secrets to success with us. Thanks, Dar.
Hey, thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me.